Hey everybody, hope you're doing great today. It is February 19th. This is the Morning Devo with Bo O. Bo Willette's my name. You could always check out the archives at my YouTube channel, Bo Willette, right there. Just type in my name in your YouTube search bar and you'll come up with me. And you'll come up with all the devotions that I've done. And I've already got through pretty much all the New Testament. And now we're rocking the Old Testament and we're in the Proverbs. So we're in the book of wisdom. If you remembered Proverbs chapter 1, it kind of gave us a little bit of an outline of what this whole book is about. And if you remember, it was about discipline, living a disciplined life. It was about teaching people wisdom, understanding, knowledge. And it really had that really famous passage in it, verse 7, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. And so that's what the Proverbs are about in a nutshell. So welcome, Paula. Glad you liked David Guzik yesterday. That was awesome. Glad super fun to hang with them. Wonderful mentors for Sylvia and myself over the years. Bob, Tina, and Tina is coming back from the mountain, it sounds like. Wonderful snow and all that fun stuff. And so hope you have a safe trip back, the whole crew. So let's get into it. Proverbs and chapter 16. Let's see what it says for us. And I love to just go through the Bible in my devos. And that's what I'm doing. Just simply go through it. So we can make our plans, but the Lord gives the right answer. I got to be flexible today, right? Something might change. Something might be different than what I want to do, but I'm going to have to work through that. I'm going to have to allow the Lord to dictate and move in my life. And sometimes we become really not flexible at all. And that's something we always have to work on. It says, people may be pure in their own eyes, but the Lord examines their motives. Ooh, that's so good, right? Gosh, he knows my motives. Am I pure in my own eye, too? Are you guys pure in your own eye? You might think you're doing everything in the right way, but, the Lord knows our innermost motives. He knows if there's some fear there. He knows about our insecurities. He knows if we're trying to protect. He knows if we're trying to, cover up whatever it is. He knows the motives, right? He knows if there's envy in there, if there's jealousy, if there's a lack of forgiveness in there, bitterness, hatred, resentment, right? All that stuff. He knows that. It says, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. Cool promise, right? Just committing your ways to the Lord. Lord, I'm going to trust you. And it says, the Lord has made everything for his own purposes, even the wicked for the day of disaster. Wow, kind of an idea of that God has a purpose, and I might not know everything in that purpose, but I'm going to have to trust that God I love how it kind of has this like really hyperbole kind of idea, even the wicked for the day of disaster. Everybody's got their purpose. Nothing, in a sense, gets away from God. And that's kind of a cool idea, too. Nothing gets away from God. God doesn't go, oh, wow, I forgot about that. Or, oh, man, I didn't even know that. That kind of idea. It says, the Lord detests the proud. They will surely be punished. So wicked are always, it seems like, related to this idea of pride. It seems like they kind of go hand in hand, the wicked, the prideful. Those that... and certainly this is an attitude I've had, certainly one that is not very submissive to God, not just submissive, but really doesn't want God at all, doesn't want the Yahweh. And it says, unfailing love and faithfulness make atonement for sin. By fearing the Lord, people avoid evil. So kind of a cool passage in verse 6, right? Unfailing love and faithfulness, love and faith. You see this all the time in the New Testament. Paul the Apostle says, what matters most is faith working itself out in love. Yeah, faith and love. And so you see these two components here. Unfailing love and faithfulness. Man, just that consistency, that unfailing love makes atonement for sin. I guess that's a really cool picture of Jesus, right? Unfailing love and faithfulness. Atoning for sin, covering up my sin. What's going to cover up my sin? Well, hopefully a lot of love. You know, maybe when people even sin against me, maybe how I could cover up. Do I want to cover up their sin? Is it love and faithfulness towards them? Do I have that kind of heart? Or do I just hold on to bitterness and hold on to resentment, hold on to unforgiveness in my heart, those kind of things? Or do I cover up their blunder with unfailing love and faithfulness? That's a good question. When people's lives please the Lord, even their enemies are at peace with them. Better to have little with godliness than to be rich and to be dishonest. So that's a theme in the Proverbs, right? The idea of, making a lot of money but doing it dishonestly. It's better to be without than with, and in a sense, you got it in an evil way. And it says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. So there's a lot of we can make our plans, but the Lord's got to lead the kind of idea in this Proverbs 16. So maybe we can start thinking of Proverbs 16 as the one of we make plans in general, but we have to commit our ways to the Lord. It says, the king speaks with divine wisdom. He must never judge unfairly. It's a good word for those in government, right? The Lord demands accurate scales and balances. He sets the standards for fairness. Hey, government folk, are you guys being fair? Are you doing the right thing? Are you trading fair? Economic gain. Are you doing things that are fair, like what we can do? Or do you actually kind of do what we can't do, but you do what you feel like you can kind of usurp the law because of your position and do things that are wrong, but it's for economic gain. So it's a word to the kings, right? God desires justice, right balances. A king detests wrongdoing, for his rule is built on justice. So there's another word to the kings. The king is pleased with the words from righteous lips. He loves those who speak honestly. Okay, so another word for the kings, for the politicians, about being honest. Oh, enough said there, right? The anger of the king is a deadly threat. The wise will try to appease it. Okay, so, man, you mess with those that are high up, and you're bound to, have a punishment, right? But the wise will try to appease those in authority. There's some wisdom there, right? And not ruffling the feathers of the boss. When the king smiles, there is life. His favor refreshes like a spring rain. So a lot about the kings, a lot about those in leadership, I must say, government. How much better to get wisdom than gold and good judgment than silver. The path of the virtuous leads away from evil. Whoever follows that path is safe. Just in general, right? Following a path that's not filled with all this destructive behavior is going to help you out. Pride goes before destruction and haughtiness before a fall. So Proverbs 16, a lot about God planning our steps, a lot of stuff about kings, about being honest, those in leadership, politicians being, and then it goes into this idea of pride, right? Pride comes before destruction, haughtiness before a fall. Am I haughty? Am I a person who's puffed up? Do I think I got it together? Do I realize that I too need salvation? I too need Jesus so much. Better to live humbly with the poor than to share plunder with the proud. Again, that pride. And it says, those who listen to instruction will prosper. Those who trust in the Lord will be joyful. So you kind of can see the measurement of those who are proud or those who are humble by if they're listening to God, right? If they're kind of coming underneath the Lord's direction. So growing up, of course, I could see where I didn't have this idea of God being accountable to God. Or to anybody really for that matter. Maybe the government, I guess, was in my mind at some point. The law. But in general, you just kind of think you got it all together. That you really know what you're doing. I think about so many activism folk, right? That go out in front of a concert venue, protesting a musician that's playing because of some political thing. And they think they really are in the know. They think they got it together. They think they're in the right. And they're passionate about it. But it's amazing how wrong we can get. And this is what the crucifixion of Jesus shows us, is that humans can get it oh so wrong, right? Oh so wrong. Where we can take the most precious soul on the planet, the most pure of heart, the most honest of lips, the most compassionate of people, and we can crucify them. That's how off we can be. Unbelievable. So it says, those who listen to instructions. Do I listen to instruction? Do I listen to God? The wise are known for their understanding, and pleasant words are persuasive. Having good words, pleasant words. Not harsh words, but pleasant. Discretion is a life-giving fountain to those who possess it, but discipline is wasted on fools. Discretion, a life-giving fountain. I love that. Being discreet. It's kind of a cool old term, right? It sounds like something, 70 years ago. Discreet, But it definitely carries that idea in my mind of, being wisely cautious. And wisely not boisterous, not boasting, but discreet, right? I like that. Something to think of. Maybe look up to that word a little bit. Discreet. From a wise mind comes wise speech. The words of the wise are persuasive. So true. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Kind words. Hey, do I exercise kindness? Am I kind to people? Even to those who aren't so into me at the moment. Do I know how to have kind words? Do I come into a conversation with kind words? Words of affirming that unfailing love and faithfulness, right? That really atones for sin, that really covers someone's sin. Do I have that kind of heart, even in conflict times? It's a good question. It says kind words are healthy. They're healthy. I love that. Healthy to the soul, healthy to the body. There's a path before each person that seems right, but in the end is death. Oh, so true. What a famous proverb that one is, 16:25, right? There's a way that seems right, but in the end it leads to death. So true there, right? It is good for workers to have an appetite on an empty stomach and it is good for workers to have an appetite. An empty stomach drives them on. Okay. So, hey, you don't want, I guess, your work party to get too much pizza, because then they'll just be sitting eating pizza all day. Hey, this sounds like work in Hawaii. When I lived on the island of Kauai, I remember that the road work just went on and on and on. The road workers would just be kicking back and just relaxing. Everything's so chill, on the island. You just kind of got your poi and got your chips and got your stuff, and you're just kind of, content. kind of. So not much work gets done. And I remember painting homes in Kauai where, you paint a house, you paint a wall and then you go surf, and then you come back and paint another wall and then go surf. And it was just hilarious, And so that I can relate to that. Scoundrels create trouble. Their words are destructive blaze. Like fire, right? Ooh, it's just, man, always, trying to get the upper hand, right? They use their mouths. The troublemaker plants seeds of strife. Gossip separates the best of friends. That's so sad. Gossip separates the best of friends. Have you ever had good friends, good people in your life, but then gossip gets in there and separates? Right? Gossip. Man, God help us not to talk about other people. It's such a challenge. I know I harp on that a lot, but it's just a challenge in our lives, isn't it? That when I'm in conversation with people, don't talk about other people. Just talk about you guys. You and you. And where you guys are at, And if you need to talk in general terms, talk in general terms, But don't pull out specifics and details and da-da-da and, You don't have to go there, right? We have too much information in our brain, and instead of going maybe to the Lord, we open up our mouths too quick. It separates the best of friends, and that's a bummer, right? Because don't you wish we could just be friends? Don't you wish we could just live at peace? Oh yeah, that sounds so much better. But gossip gets in there. Violent people mislead their companions, leading them down a harmful path. Yeah, violent people, what mislead their companions? Gosh, sometimes I don't think of myself as a violent person, but then I think of, the violence of the heart, like envy. That's an act of violence, it seems like. It could get to an activity of violence, but it seems like just envy alone is something that I bring up that when I think of it, it carries with it in my mind of violence, right? Not just jealous for someone, but wanting to have what they have and them to lose it. There's a lot of those kind of attitudes and that are attitudes in the heart that seem to me violent actions, even though they don't come out that way, and they could be held in the heart for a long period of time before you even see any manifestation of it. There is a violence in there. Goes down a harmful path for sure. With narrowed eyes, people plot evil. With a smirk, they plan their mischief. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained by living a godly life. Wow. Gray hair, godly life. I'm sure there's a lot of gray hairs that don't live a godly life. But I think the idea is longevity. The idea is just, that prospering life kind of thing. That blessedness of just living with the Lord and aging well kind of thing. Better to be patient than powerful. Better to have self-control than to conquer a city. How's my self-control? How's my patience? So 2 other areas. So I have loving, faithfulness, patience, self-control are all in this proverb. Sounds a little bit like the fruit of the Spirit. Interesting. Proverbs 16, the fruit of the Spirit proverb. We may throw the dice, but the Lord determines how they fall. Okay, so it seems like there's a lot of sovereignty of Lord in this section, right? We have our plans, but God who gives the right answer, these kind of ideas. And we saw some stuff on pride as well. We saw some things for those in leadership, the politicians, and there's been a lot of good things to think about as far as just my own heart goes. So again, the Proverbs always come through, don't they? Man, they just they always seem to hit home. They always seem to kind of hit the right spot. We see a lot of fruit of the Holy Spirit here, that idea of love and self-control and faithfulness, kind of action, patience, So we see a lot of that also in the proverb. And again, it focuses us a little bit on our mouths, right? And how we're talking, and knowing that friendships can be separated simply just through not good speech. And so always working on that. So the Proverbs always pull us in, help us understand that we have to look at objective truth that is for us. We can't just make up our own, that there is a right and a wrong and how we ought to go about things. And so that's what it's moving us towards. So anyway, good stuff. And friends, take care. Let's be praying for Tina to get home safely. You guys have a great one. Always good joining you on the Morning Devo. Take care. Bye-bye.